Welcome to Japji Sahib, Pauri 25. बहुता करम लिखिया ना जाए, वड्डा दाता तिल न तमाए, केटे मंगी जोड़ अपार, केटिया गनत नहीं विचार, केटे खप टुटई विकार, केटे लय लय मुखर पाही, केटे मूरख खाही खाही, केटिया दुख बुख सदमार, ए भी दात तेरी दातार, बंद खलासी पाने हुए, होर आँख ना सकै कोई, जेको खाए एक आँखां पाए, ओ जाने जितिया मुक्की, ओ जाने जितिया मुही खाए, आपे जाने आपे दे, आँखें से भी के, जिसनो बख्शे सिफत सलाह, नानक पात साही पात सा. In this body, Nanak is describing the magnanimous nature of the giver. The giver keeps giving relentlessly. He does not stop, whether you acknowledge it or not, whether you accept it or not, whether you appreciate it or not. The giver keeps giving. And how does he give? Without an expectation to receive something in return. How do we humans really give? Whenever we give something in charity or helping somebody, or even if you just give $1 to a homeless person, there is a hidden expectation, at least of a thank you from the person. Or there is a hidden expectation that the people who are around me should think greatly of me. Oh, what a generous person. Or we have an expectation that in return for this charity, I will get a better place reserved for me in heaven. There is a hidden expectation behind everything that we give. Homework number 1 for you. Check and examine your inner environment thoroughly. Do you give in order to receive? Examine that. Nanak says that the giver gives relentlessly. He doesn't stop, and he gives without an expectation of receiving something. I'll tell you a story. There was this person who was handicapped not only visually but also auditory handicap. So he could not see and he could not hear very clearly. This person went to the temple on a regular basis to a knowledge session, a scriptural knowledge reading session. So one day, one of the temple attendants asked him, "Why do you come so regularly? One, when you cannot see anything. Two, when you cannot even hear the knowledge." So the person said, "You forgot something. There are people around who see me come regularly, and they think that I am such a good man. That is sufficient a reason for me to come for this session to the temple regularly." Do you see that? When you go to God, even there is an expectation of receiving something. Your prayer has also become a vasana. What is a vasana? The greed to get something, the want that has invisible hands going out, thirsting to grasp something and bring it back. Our thirst is not always for physical objects. Sometimes our thirst is for imaginary objects, like a beautiful place reserved for me in heaven, or being closer to the temple priest, or people thinking I am a good person. These are the times when we do things, but we do them with a subtle expectation of receiving something in return. I'm just throwing out simple examples. You examine yourself and see, really, are you doing the same? And if you are, is it really bringing the joy and the happiness and that absolute peace that you are thirsting for? If not, it's time to do a reality check whether this kind of an action is required or not. Yeah. Bahuta karam likhiya na jaye, vadda data til na samaye. His blessings are so unconditional that you cannot even count them. You cannot even keep an account of them. Kete mangi jod apar. So many people ask, so many people. It's not just that the poor man asks or begs from God. Even the rich man asks and begs. Even the warrior begs. Even the king begs. Once Akbar, the king, was praying in a little dargah. Right outside the dargah was this beggar. He started moving in the direction of Akbar to ask for something. At that moment, Akbar was praying to Allah, saying that I have conquered so many kingdoms, but these are not enough. I want to conquer this kingdom. Please give it to me. The beggar heard this and shook his head. He stopped in his track. He turned back. At that moment, Akbar had finished his prayers and he turned around and noticed that the beggar had turned away and was walking away. So he called out to the beggar and said, "Hey man, what do you want? Why did you go away? I will give you what you need. So the beggar turned to him and said, I had come to ask you for something that I need. But what shall I ask of a beggar? You yourself are a beggar. You are begging from God. How can I ask you for something? Are you a beggar? Time to check. Ketia ganat nahi vichar. So many are there. There are countless such beggars. They keep dwelling in the thoughts of their vasanas, thinking that is prayer. Such beggars are countless. Kete khap tutti vekar. And these countless beggars, they go into the mouth of death, reeling in their vikaras. Basically, it means that all our lives we just spend in negativity, asking, relishing in desires. Whether it's a desire for pleasure or it is a rejection of pain. Both are desires. Understand this. Behind the rejection of pain, there's a desire of no pain, and a desire for something pleasurable is desire. When you are in that state of desire, there's this constant feverishness in the mind. Have you noticed that? That feverishness itself is vikar, is negativity. It doesn't matter if that feverishness is for something pleasant in life. It is still a feverishness. And feverishness takes us away from the present moment. Feverishness takes us away from that core, that peaceful center, takes us away from that background of calmness that we are. Time to check. Do you keep indulging in vikaras moment to moment, moment to moment? And really, have you thought what is the cause of your suffering? It is your desires of you only. You desire name, fame, money. It actually means you have an expectation of yourself to attain these, to achieve these. And that feverishness to get there, that is what bothers you. That is what keeps you completely surrounded in that cloud of vikaras. Kete lailai mukkar pahi. So many keep taking again and again, and they even deny receiving it. I'll tell you a story. There was this man uh, who used to pray that God, when you give me, you have to give me 100. I will not settle for 99. It doesn't matter whether you give me cows or buffaloes or you give me gold coins, but you give me 100 of them. And he used to pray the same prayer every day. And he used to pray pretty loudly. So one of his older siblings living in the same family home decided to play a prank on him. When he was sitting and praying with his eyes closed, this guy throws a small potli, a small cloth bag filled with 99 coins right in front of him. So when he suddenly gets out of his prayer, hearing the thud sound, he opens the little bag and he starts immediately counting the gold coins. And he sees, oh, there are only 99. And he looks up at God and says, oh, you cut one gold coin for commission, huh? Even when we receive, there is no gratitude. We deny receiving means what? There is no gratitude in us. There is a complaint. Why did I not receive a little more? Or why did I receive only so much? Have you noticed this? Yeah. Homework number 2. Time to check. Do I have this tendency to complain instead of being grateful when I receive something? Kete murak khahi khahi. So many of us just keep consuming. Here, khahi is not just eating food, but we keep receiving the gifts of God, of nature. And we never express our gratitude in return for it. We are just consuming and consuming incessantly without stopping to say a thank you. We don't even really deserve what we get. God always gives us much, much more than what we deserve. But most of us are so busy consuming what has come our way. We have no time to stop and thank God. Kete murak, khahi khahi. Such people Nanak calls murak. Murak is a duffer, yeah? A stupid person. Kete duk, buk sadmar. So many of us suffer from duk. Duk is suffering or misery. Buk. Buk is deprivation, not having enough to sustain yourself. And mar. Mar is a slap of nature. Basically, getting into difficulties on account of nature. We all go through all kinds of suffering, misery, all kinds of difficulties. We go through deprivation, we go through lack, and yet we do not understand that the reason for this deprivation or lack or suffering is us. It is our vasanas. It is our greed to go out and grasp. It is our want that goes out searching. It gets tired of searching it, but continues searching. This feverishness creates a sense of lack. This itself creates the difficulties that arise on our path because our focus is on that greed, on that want. This itself creates misery. We are the cause of misery. Our vasanas are the cause of our misery. But we do not understand this. So many of us go through these difficulties and keep thinking that peace will be around the next corner, in the next object of happiness, in the next object of pleasure. And we keep running. We turn around the corner and we get the same thing. We fall on our face. How much will you run? How much wealth will be enough? How many clothes will be enough? How many gadgets are going to be sufficient? It is never going to be enough. Remember this thing. The mind is like a pot that does not have a bottom. How much ever you fill into it, it is never going to be satiated. It is never going to say, yes, I am full. Because the bottom does not exist. It is a pot without a bottom. Whatever you put in goes through. Wake up, wake up. You have been slapped by nature, right, left, and center. These slaps are also actually a gift of nature. It is nature's way of waking us up. High time. Wake up. In the next line, he says, "E bhi daat teri datar." This is also your gift. This deprivation, this misery, this slap, this difficulty that has come my way. This is also your gift. Why is Nanak calling it a gift? Because in that moment of difficulty, you take a momentary break from your vasana, from your greed, and you close your eyes and you just seep into yourself. It may happen just for a few seconds in your dukkha. But again, the mind comes back to the vasana. Only in dukkha, in misery, in suffering do you remember God. Do you close your eyes and stop? Do you decide to quit that race at least for a moment? You never really quit. In that state of absolute misery or lack or anguish, you say, I give up, and you let go of that feverishness and you take a step back. For a moment, you melt within yourself. For a moment, you relax. That is a gift. Otherwise, you would not take that moment to just give up everything and relax. You would continue on your pointless running race behind desires. That moment of relaxing within, of resting within, of abiding within is a gift. So Nanak says, "E bhi daat teri datar." This is also your gift, O giver. बंद खला से पाने होए, हुर आँख न सके कोई. Liberation from bondage comes by His will. Hor aankh na sake koi. No one else can give you liberation, or no one else has a say in this. Jeko khaik akha pae, o jane jetiya muh khai. If anyone presumes that he has a say in this or he can change this, he falls on his face. Muh ki khata hai. Yeah, that is muhi khai. Basically, he is proved wrong. Only by his will you get liberation. Only by his compassion will you get liberation. उसकी अनुकंपा से ही मोक्ष मिलता है. लेकिन किसे मिलता है? जो पात्र हो. And what is the meaning of patra? the one who is a deserving recipient of the same. You cannot say that God is compassionate on one person and not compassionate on another person. For example, the sun. The sun is shining equally on somebody who is out and about in the fields enjoying the sun, and is shining equally on the person who has closed himself indoors and drawn the curtains. The sun is impartial. So his compassion, God's compassion, is impartial. It is equally flowing on the person who is a recipient and the one who is not a recipient. The person who is not a recipient is the one who has closed himself, locked himself up indoors, and drawn the curtains on the windows so the sun doesn't come in from anywhere. A recipient is out and about in the fields, embracing the sunshine. Now, understanding this, if somebody says that he has a say in giving you enlightenment, or he has a say in bringing liberation your way, then very soon he will fall on his face. Nanak says that nobody else has a say in it. Nobody else. There's a Sufi song or a Sufi poem, I don't remember, but which has a story like this, where an enlightened person says that I have tried to give freedom, or explain freedom, or explain liberation, how to get there, to many people, and I have realized that you cannot give it to somebody who is not ready for it. So the disciple says, how can it be possible, O Master? You have the supreme knowledge, and if you give it to anybody, even a person who is not ready to take it will take it. So the Master says, it is not so. Even if we try with a small experiment, like giving money or gold coins to somebody, that person will not take it. So liberation is a far off thing to be able to give to somebody who is not ready to receive it. So the disciple says, no, I'm not ready to accept this. And the disciple says, let's do an experiment. So the master says, okay, let's do. What do you want to do? So on a bridge between two villages, nice long bridge, they decided one day to halt the traffic, and everybody was stopped from going onto the bridge. All vehicles were stopped from coming onto the bridge. The plan was devised for this poor farmer uh, who was not informed about this curfew, let's call it. And then he comes onto the bridge, and what the disciple along with the king has done is filled a pot with gold coins and left it in the middle of the bridge. And this poor farmer uh, gets closer to the bridge and notices, oh, today there's nobody on the bridge. Wow. And he's like very happy, and the disciple, master, the king, and all these people are hiding in the bushes on the other side, uh, watching him cross the bridge. And they watch him and they watch him, and he crosses past the pot full of gold without even looking in that direction, and he goes ahead. So they stop him on the other side of the bridge and ask him that, how is it that you did not notice that pot of gold? And he said that today, when I came closer to the bridge, I noticed there was nobody on this bridge. And I became very happy because I always wanted to cross this bridge with my eyes closed. But it used to be so full of bullock carts and traffic and people that I could never do it. And today, it was my lucky day. There was nobody on the bridge and I could do my experiment. So I closed my eyes and I walked all the way from that side of the bridge to this side of the bridge, and therefore I did not notice your pot of gold. It's just a song, really. In, it symbolizes that you cannot give something to someone who is not ready to receive it. You cannot give enlightenment, the supreme truth, the wisdom, the freedom, the highest knowledge to somebody who is not ready to receive it. And one who says that he has a say in this matter will fall on his face. Beautiful, no? I love this part of this body. It's like the sweetest, the most beautiful, the something that I connect to so easily. There's so many people, that I would want to talk about this highest truth. But, it's like a difficult situation. I want to tell you, but your ears are closed. You're not ready to listen. I am ready to give you the sweet nectar, but your gaze is somewhere else. You don't value the nectar, and hence you don't want to have the nectar. It's very difficult to find a real seeker, a true sadhak, who wants to taste the highest jnana. And if you are a patra, pat yourself on the back from my side. जेको खाएक अखा पाए, ओ जाने जेतिया मुह खाए. If some fool presumes that he does know he can give enlightenment or liberation to somebody, he falls on his face. He falls on his face. Because मिलता उसकी अनुकंपा से है, पर पाते तुम अपनी पात्रता से हो. It is showering on you through his compassion, but you receive it only with the bowl on the correct side up. You receive it only with a receiving vessel, not a upside down turned rejecting vessel. आपै जाने आपै दे, आकहि से भी केई के. He himself knows and he himself gives, but there are very few people who acknowledge this truth. God is actually seeking for you. You think you are seeking for him, no? That's not the truth. You can seek only for that which you have known before and then lost it. And having lost it, then you remember it and then you go looking for it. But if you have never met God, how will you go looking for him? How can you even have the thirst for something that you have never tasted before? So really, how do we solve this puzzle? There's another story from Egypt. So in this Egyptian story, there is a fakir and he gets enlightened. And when he gets enlightened, God's voice speaks to him. The fakir says, alas, the search has ended. I have found you. So God said that how could your search have even started without me finding you first? I am the one who found you. God is searching for you. And that God's search, God's thirst is what you experience. That is what propels you onto the path. That is what you are longing for. That longing in you is actually God's thirst for you. He is waiting for you. He is wanting for you to come home. He has kept the doors and the windows open. He is looking through that window at you. You are the one caught up in your desires. You are the one caught up in your own mind. You are the one caught up in this world of people, situations, and things. You have turned your back towards God. He is waiting. He has always been waiting. He only himself knows. He only himself gives. Very few people are fortunate enough to know this, that God is waiting, that God is thirsting for you. Turn around, walk towards God, meet Him. You don't even have to start walking actually. You have to just turn away from all the vasanas that you are lost in. All your vasanas are like that stone, that magic stone that you tell, I want $1 million. It says, why not 2 million? You say, okay, give me 2 million. It says, why not 4 million? And it continues, and never really gives you. It is a bottomless pot. It can never be filled. The moment you look away from vasana, you automatically turn towards God. And then God will take a step towards you. You will not even have to make that effort. It is an effortless path, Nanak says. It is an effortless path. Just withdraw from the vasanas. God is already there. He is shining as a luminous light. His sound is in this universe that can be equally heard by an ant as it can by a human being. But your mind is so lost in the noise of vasana that you cannot hear the voice of God. The voice of God is this sound of silence. Calm down, quieten that mind, leave it alone, and you will hear this sound. It is there even now, the Omkar. Jisno bakshe sifat salam, one who is blessed to hear this, the one who is blessed to know this sound of Omkar, one who is blessed to hear this voice of God. Nanak Patasha, he Patasha. O Nanak, he is the King of Kings. Last homework for you. Become a king. Be a king. That is who you really are. Go home. Go home. See you next week in the next body.